mic right. This is definitely my field of expertise. I need to be here. Get my screen clean. I need to be the one speaking on this. Y'all come on in here. Get some of this prolific dialogue, some of this prolific commentary, because y'all got the diesel fucked up. Somebody has to correct these things, and this is actually my field of expertise. So come on in here, y'all. Let me turn this volume down on here so I can still keep track of the game. Denver is winning right now, but it ain't even halftime yet. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell as you come in, top notification bell. What's good? What's good? It's not gutter, it's Gully. Gully. God's universal love lives in you. He said, I lost money on the Knicks. The Knicks are a little beat up right now. It was game 3. They playing on the road. Just be cool. I would have rested. I'm not gonna lie. I would have ate this one. I would have ate that game 3. I would have rested everybody. Load management, because I feel that the Knicks can take care of them at home, but they need to win at least one of these joints up in Indiana. But they beat up right now, so I would have gave them guys a rest. But you know, they showed up. They showed up. But I would have gave them a rest. Anyway, let's talk about this shit going on with Shannon Sharpe and Shaquille. Boom, boom, boom. He said, ain't nobody to rest. Too many injuries. Yeah, but you got to figure something out, man. Like, you got Jalen playing with a suspected injury. Then you got OG situation. You got Robinson situation. You know what I'm saying? So he said the Knicks are a grown man team. You know good and well you're gonna block people. I could start off blocking you right now. You wanna go? Do you wanna be here? I don't lose nothing by blocking you. It ain't like you bought anything or anything like that. I don't know you on a personal level. Do you wanna be here? Because yeah, I'm gonna block some motherfuckers. If I feel like it, you're blocked. Straight like that. But yeah, y'all like this video as y'all come in here. Troy, do he want to be blocked? Anyway, let's talk about Shaquille O'Neal and Shannon Sharpe. Shannon is out of line. Basketball is not your that's not your field of expertise. You know what I'm saying? Shannon was way out of line. Sometimes niggas get beside themselves. And I like Shannon Sharpe. I always did. Shannon played really, really passionate in the NFL. As passionate as Ray Lewis, he just played tight end and shit with his black ass. He brung the pain. His brother Sterling Sharpe played for my Green Bay Packers. He was like that too, but he ended up getting up out of the league prematurely and shit because of injuries. But he said Shaq put him in his place. Let me correct some things. Let me put some things in perspective, right? Check this out. Number 1, Shaq said he's the most dominant big man of all time. I believe that to be the truth. I watched those games. Couldn't nobody fucking stop him. Shaq came in the league tearing down fucking whole rim extensions. Like, you ever seen a rim and backboard not shatter but collapse? That mean the hydraulics and shit that been destroyed. Shaq was pulling down entire fucking rims and backboards together. Shits was collapsing like transformers and shit. He said he was the most dominant. I believe that to be the truth. You know why? they had to create a defense for him called the Whack-a-Shack, which did not work. Which did not work. They created a defense basically saying, oh, he's not the best free throw shooter in the world. So whenever he get the ball, we just gonna foul him on purpose. This was their resolution. And it never worked. You know why? Because whenever the game was on the line or whenever it counted, the nigga went to the fucking line and made the fucking free throws and shit. After a while, it was null and void. The whole gesture was null and void. He was going to the line making free throws. So the fact that they had to create a whole defense called the Whack-a-Shack, which was unsportsmanlike, getting in there and just whacking at him and shit, shows how dominant he was. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was dominant in college. He kept dunking the ball to the point they outlawed dunking for a few years. This is what we mean, what we mean by dominant. This means can't nobody fuck with you. You're unstoppable and shit. And Shaq was in fact unstoppable. Now, Shaquille O'Neal said that he congratulated Jokic. I've seen the interview on TNT. He congratulated him on his MVP. He said, I had SGA winning the MVP, but congratulations to you. A lot of people had SGA as the MVP. Jokic was quoted earlier in the season as saying when they was trying to give him the MVP by half the season. You know what I mean? Halfway into the season, they was throwing the MVP name around on Jokic, and he said, man, I feel that there's some guys that's more deserving of the MVP trophy this year. He said it himself. He said it himself. One of those guys would be SGA, right? Boom. A lot of people said that they felt that SGA, and I'm not a fan of the guy. He said some slick shit about LeBron, and LeBron gave him 40. SGA was picked by a lot of people to be the MVP. They said that. And Shannon Sharpe took that which was said by a professional basketball player. Shannon, you a football player. You took what was said by a professional basketball player, one of the greatest of all times, and created your own narrative and shit, and got to the point where you said, yeah, and yeah, he Shaq's name never comes up in the GOAT conversation. His name comes up in the GOAT conversation when you're talking about big men. It does. His name is mentioned as one of the greatest big men of all time. Whenever they talk bigs, you can count on his name being in the conversation. Now, when they get to talking about the GOATs and shit like that, this is a conversation that's more tailor-made for guards. Michael Jordan, Steph Curry, Kobe Bryant. Guards. No matter what the big man does in the NBA, the guard is always going to be the motherfucker, the shining star and shit. One of the guard positions is called what? The shooting guard. That means this is the motherfucker on the team who has been allocated to take all the goddamn shots. Reggie Miller, Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying? We can go on and on about Kobe Bryant. We can go on and on about the great shooting guards and shit. So whenever they talking about GOATs, Chauncey Billups played point guard. Whenever they talking about GOATs, you more than likely gonna hear guard play. You're gonna hear guard play. You're gonna hear the guards mentioned. So Shannon Sharpe said, yeah, whenever the GOAT conversation comes up, nobody ever mentions Shaq. That's because primarily when everybody talk about GOATs, the first person that's mentioned is Michael Jordan. And when you get to comparing other people that would be in the conversations, there would be people who played the same position as Michael Jordan. That's where the GOAT conversation is rooted in. Michael Jordan is the measuring stick when it comes to the GOAT shit. You dig? So you're going to hear all of the guards, like they mentioned in Ant-Man right now. Dwayne Wade. You're going to always hear guards mentioned when they talking about Stephon Marbury played point guard, fam. Whenever guards are mentioned, you're going to hear people being compared. Whenever GOATs are mentioned, you're going to hear people being compared to Michael Jordan. Shaq don't play shooting guard, right? Now, You got this thing where Shannon tried to compare. He said whenever a big man is mentioned, it seemed like Shaq get jealous. Shaq can't be no fucking jealous, no goddamn joker. Shaq would break that boy's spirit if he played in the same league as Jokic. It ain't no big men in the league no more. There's no big men in the league anymore. Jokic don't be down there on the post battling against David Robinson. That's not Patrick Ewing down there on the post battling against him. That's not Alonzo Mourning. That's not Dikembe Mutombo. It's not Tim Duncan. It's not Chris Webber. It's not none of the Kevin Garnett. It's not none of the great bigs or guys that played in the middle. You feel me? He said, tapping into this good content, Big Brother Dribble. Thank you for your super chat, the pull-up champ. Right? Jokic ain't playing against no big men. He's not. The big men that's in the NBA now shoot fucking three-pointers. The nigga Wemby, who just won Rookie of the Year, he had 100 three-pointers. He's 7'4". You just seen Joel Embiid get booted out the playoffs. Why? Because he's not playing big men. He wants to shoot threes and shit like that. He wants to shoot a bunch of fucking three-pointers. So when you hear Shannon Sharpe compare Shaquille O'Neal to Jokic, understand what the fuck you talking about. Because if Jokic, you already seen Anthony Davis just get 30 a night on him. Anthony Davis is skinny and frail, and he just got 30 every game playing against Jokic. He don't shut nobody down. He don't. He got his hand full with Karl Anthony Towns and them dudes right now, and they just beat him without Rudy Gobert. Denver is winning the game right now, but if they don't win tonight, he's going to be the first MVP to get swept. You know what I'm saying? I'm almost positive that he would be the first person that was awarded the MVP and immediately got swept afterward. Yeah, add Rasheed Wallace and Ben Wallace to them big man conversation. Joker ain't playing against those types of dudes at all, right? If Shaquille O'Neal had to play against Jokic, he would break his spirit. He would treat him like he treated everybody. And he was especially brutal against white guys. He was. Oh, you can add Yao Ming. That was somebody else's spirit that Shaq broke. You know what I'm saying? Yao Ming came to the league and they was talking about, we got the 7 foot. We got somebody for Shaquille O'Neal now. And what happened? Shaq dunked all over him like he did everybody else. There was nobody who could stop this nigga from doing whatever the fuck he wanted. When the Pistons beat the Lakers, they was sticking him collectively with Rasheed Wallace and Ben Wallace, two big men. That was their resolution for Shaquille O'Neal, right? Shannon Sharpe tried to downplay Shaq and say, yeah, you can't be the GOAT with only one MVP. What's wrong with having one MVP in the NBA? That's a great accomplishment. That means you was the best motherfucker in the league, right? But let's go beyond that. Shaq had one regular season MVP. Shaq had 3 finals MVPs. That means when the game was on the line, when the jewelry was involved, the rings, the trophies, and shit like that, the titles, that means he rose to the occasion. He was brutal in them finals. He was brutal in those finals. When you mention his name, also mention that Kobe Bryant and Shaq was down 15 points in the fourth quarter against the Portland Trailblazers in the Western Conference Finals. They was down 15 in the fourth quarter. That was Steve Smith, Brian Grant, Rasheed Wallace is on that team. I think Sabonis is on that team. Maybe Mighty Mouse, Damon Stoudemire. A loaded team. They was down 15 points in the fourth quarter. This is the game that was punctuated by that famous alley-oop that Kobe threw to Shaq after they came from 15. Yeah, Pippen was on that team too. After they came from 15 down, Kobe threw the alley-oop to Shaq and he funked that shit and it broke their spirit and they went on to win the title. Shannon Sharpe was clearly out of line by carrying Shaq's name. Shaq didn't say he was the GOAT. He said, I'm the most brutal, the most dominant big man of all time. This is the fucking facts. He was also the biggest. He was the biggest. He was not just 7'1". He was 350 pounds or some shit like that. He was the diesel. He was the diesel, and nobody could stop him. Nobody could fucking stop him. So to try to downplay him because of his professional basketball opinion, Shaq is a basketball player, Hall of Famer. He said that he felt that, other people said it too, he felt that SGA should have got the MVP. A lot of people agreed with that. My MVP was Jalen Brunson. A lot of people agreed with that, but Shannon chose to use Shaq's professional basketball opinion and take shots at him. You can't do that. You can't do that. It just showed where his knowledge of basketball was at. I'll say this again. Shaquille O'Neal dominated an NBA from the center position. An NBA that had Dikembe Mutombo, Alonzo Mourning, Patrick Ewing, Rick Smits, David Robinson, Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett, Chris Webber, Arvydas Sabonis, and I probably could go further, but you get the gist of what the fuck I'm saying. Shaq dominated all of them big men. Now, it ain't no big men matchups in the NBA. Big men are shooting threes and shit like that. One of the last other alpha bigs was Boogie Cousins. He ain't even in the league no more. He was somebody who played around the rim like a big and shit. But the rest of these guys, even Anthony Davis be shooting threes and shit like that. Cousins wasn't really shooting no threes. Anthony Davis be shooting jumpers and shit. Yeah, Vlade Divac, Hakeem Olajuwon. There's more. I can go on. I didn't mention Vlade because Shaq beat up on Vlade so bad that they had to create a rule called the flopping rule. That was created primarily because of Vlade Divac. Dwight Howard too. That was created primarily because of Vlade Divac. Whenever Shaq hit Vlade with the drop step dunk, Vlade would fall all on the ground and shit. And they got tired of that shit. And they said, you know what? If you do that shit again, we're going to give you a technical foul. And then they outright made it a rule. It's called the flopping rule. That was because of Shaquille O'Neal's dominance. That's what they chose to do with the Diesel. Fall on the floor. He created all of that. Y'all mentioning more big bodies. Antoine Carr, Derek Coleman. Great. Those are all great players and shit. But Shaquille dominated all of them dudes. Barkley was a power forward, an undersized power forward too. Shaq dominated all of them guys. Everybody that you mentioned, everybody that we mentioned, Shaquille O'Neal dominated them on the highest level. So for Shannon to say all of this stupid shit, it just is some sucker crabs in the barrel shit. Now, let's talk about his objective. I agree with Shaq. Shaq said, you know, you're not playing no more. I ain't playing no more. We can't prove this shit, but you are beneath me. You are beneath me. I'm more decorated than you. I'm more famous than you. I got more money than you. You actually are relevant at this time because of your podcast. So you kind of looking for conversation pieces. And before the Cat Williams interview, you weren't popping. You was just a podcaster and shit. The Cat Williams interview opened some doors and led to other interviews of high-profile people that came through Shannon Sharpe's platform. But before Cat Williams, nothing. Just one of many. Everybody got a fucking podcast. Everybody got a fucking podcast. Everybody got a podcast. Every week it could be somebody else's turn to be the shit. You know what I'm saying? You just had Brian Shaw tell the story of Latrell Sprewell choking his coach, whoever platform that was on. They was the shit that week. You dig what I'm saying? Like, it gets passed around. You got Up in Smoke. You got Gilbert Arenas, who be hating like a motherfucker. You got a bunch of other people that got sports podcasters and shit. You know what I'm saying? But Shannon's content is good. I'm not trying to downplay it and shit. I like Shannon Sharpe. I like him top to bottom. I enjoyed him on First Take. all of that. But to try to downplay one of the greatest big men of all time and say, why Shaq, your name ain't never in the GOAT conversation. They don't put no bigs in the GOAT conversation. What big man have y'all ever heard being mentioned in the GOAT conversation? What big man? Just name one. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was the all-time leading scorer until LeBron just broke his record. Wasn't nobody talking about that nigga was one of the... Wasn't nobody saying that he was the GOAT. Nobody ever was saying that he was the GOAT. They wasn't. It went straight to Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying? And after Michael Jordan, you got, the Kobe Bryant additions and the LeBron James conversation. But that GOAT conversation is limited to guards. Don't nobody be talking about them big men when they talking about the GOAT, the GOAT, the GOAT. Kareem was unstoppable. Well into his late 30s. Unstoppable. Well over 20,000 points in the NBA. And he still wasn't mentioned as the GOAT. To this day, don't nobody mention him as the GOAT. As a matter of fact, Kareem even takes a back seat on the Lakers to Magic Johnson. Motherfucker gonna get to talking about the greatest Lakers. You're gonna hear Magic's name mentioned before Kareem. You're gonna hear Magic's name mentioned before Kareem. This is the truth. This is the fucking truth. You know what I'm saying? So, and those guys y'all naming, Kareem, Russell, Will, don't nobody mention them niggas as far as being a GOAT. Bill Russell had 11 championships. He still don't get mentioned in no GOAT conversations at all. He never has been. You know what I'm saying? You got people from that generation of people that witnessed that shit that will bring him up. But no. He said, do a GOAT have to have a ring? A GOAT should have rings. Shaq got several. Of course a GOAT should have rings. Shaq got several. Yeah. Shaq meets all the criteria of one of the greatest basketball players of all time. He changed the game. There's certain people who came in the NBA and changed things, deeply affected the game. Allen Iverson was one of them. Steph Curry, you seen what he just did. He's one of them. And Shaquille O'Neal is one of them. Shaquille O'Neal was one of them. Shaquille O'Neal was one of the early 90s basketball rock stars. He rapped, he act, he got sneakers. What more? He got championships. What more do you fucking want from him? What more do you fucking want? Sounds like a dazzling performance to me. It does. So for him to take that stance and try to downplay him for Jokic is playing in a league where there aren't any Kevin Garnett. Kevin Garnett will raise hell on him purposely. Kevin Garnett, I just watched this documentary. Same Kevin Garnett that grabbed Tim Duncan by his face and mugged him. You would have to deal with not just dominating on the court. You're going to have to deal with some intimidation too. Yeah, these niggas is going to try to bully you. Jokic don't have to deal with none of that. He don't. He would have been got in a bully situation. He would have been got in a bully situation. He would have got a bully situation with Alonzo Mourning. He would have got in a bully situation with Xavier McDaniel, Charles Oakley, Charles Barkley. All types of motherfuckers would have been trying to bully him strictly because he's not an original man. Period. Daryl Javon, I appreciate your super chat. He said, Embiid is better than Jokic. He just be hurt. Tim Duncan was scared of Shaq. He was supposed to be the center. All of them dudes were scared of Shaq. All of them dudes were scared of Shaq when he was playing, yo. As a matter of fact, nobody even tried to fight Shaq but Charles Barkley. And Barkley got up under that punch that Shaq threw at him. Shaq would have tore Barkley's head off. He would have. You know what I'm saying? Let's be real. Steve Nash, Rob, Kobe of the MVP. That's always been said. I think that was his second one. That's always been said. That's always been said. That's nothing but the truth. He said Shaq was slapping motherfuckers. Yeah, let's talk about that. Shaq slapped a basketball player, a center for the Utah Jazz named Greg Ostertag. After he slapped Ostertag, Ostertag had to go get counseling. You can look this up. His mental capacity, his confidence, it started to decline. He was broken. He was broken. This is the type shit that you probably would have to deal with, you know what I'm saying, in this era. Yes, he slapped him. I can't remember what he slapped him for, but he slapped the shit out of him. He did. And it was highly publicized. Yeah. Let me get you up out of here, yo. What makes you think that anybody gonna deal with that type of goofy shit in this chat? He said, what happened in that finals against Hakeem? What's so funny? Shaquille was only like 20 years old or some shit. He was either a rookie or it was his second year. He was playing against Hakeem Olajuwon, who had been playing since the 1980s, playing against Moses Malone and all of them guys. Hakeem Olajuwon had already had a NBA Finals experience and everything. Hakeem Olajuwon was one half of a legendary duo called the Twin Towers with Ralph Sampson. He was about 32 years old. Shaq was 22. That was a child playing against a grown man. What did you think was supposed to happen? What happened for the remainder of his career? What happened for the remainder of his career? Everybody always try to bring that up when talking about Shaq, Hakeem. What happened for the rest of their career? What happened for the rest of his career? They was in the same conference. They was in the same conference. They was both in the West. Hakeem Olajuwon played for the Houston Rockets. Shaq played for the Lakers. What happened for the remainder of his career? What happened? He said Hakeem was nasty. He was nasty. Got nastier during Ramadan. He was very, very experienced. What's Shaq gonna do with a grown man who got his shit together? Boom, boom. Shaq used to get schooled by Ewing and the rest. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Whenever Ewing was playing against Shaq, Ewing was shooting jumpers. Ewing was shooting jumpers, turnaround jumpers and shit against Shaq. Did none of them big men want no parts of Shaq in his prime? They didn't. They didn't. Straight up. Alvin Robertson didn't back down from Shaq. He ate that little jaw tap and kept tussling. Alvin Roberts was a veteran, man. Alvin Roberts played since the early '80s and shit. He played for the Milwaukee Bucks, then San Antonio, and I think he probably played for Detroit or Denver later on. But Alvin Robertson was a veteran, man. Shaq was a kid. He was a kid. Dennis Rodman put Shaq on lock. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Irritated the fuck out of Shaq. Nobody clamped Shaq. I don't know what basketball you was watching. Nobody clamped Shaq. As a matter of fact, there was one season when I believe Shaq and Kobe both was averaging like 30. If not 30, close to it. Nobody was clamping Shaq. They created a defense called the Whack-a-Shaq that they thought would work against Shaq, and even that didn't work. He would go to the foul line, and he would hit them fucking free throws. He would. He said Ewing was the poster child to getting dunked on by everybody. Yeah, a lot of people used to get off on Pat. Pat's still one of the greats, one of my favorites. He said no center got dunked on like Ewing. Kareem had that footwork on Shaq, but you talking about Hakeem. Hakeem Olajuwon played soccer in his native country before he came to the United States. He had good balance and good footwork. It showed on the court. Very graceful for a big man. Shaq wasn't graceful. He wasn't. He was dominant. And that's what he said to Shannon Sharpe. He said, I'm the most dominant. I was the apex predator. Can't nobody refute that. Can't nobody refute that, man. Can't nobody refute that. You probably should, or somebody should go around and interview all of the centers that had to defend Shaq on a nightly. Mutombo, probably Mutombo, of course, Yao Ming, Vlade and Chris Webber, because they was doing it together, Rasheed Wallace, Ewing, Arvita Sabonis, Greg Ostertag, Big Country, and they will tell you, man, it was a nightmare. He was too fucking big. He was too big. He wasn't fat. He wasn't fat. He was big as a motherfucker, man. Big ass arms and shit like that. A giant. I've stood next to him. I've taken pictures with Shaq. I've been around him. He's a goddamn giant. He a giant still. Like, he don't look flabby or nothing like that now. He still look like a goddamn fucking giant. He do. He said Karl Malone got busy. He did. He did. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because when Shaq's name is brought up, they try to, put him and Kobe against each other, and they act like Kobe was the alpha in the equation. That's not true. That's not true. And something that always seems to get overlooked. I'm a Lakers fan. People always seem to overlook them air balls Kobe shot against the Utah Jazz. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember them air balls, plural, that Kobe shot against the Jazz in the playoffs? Y'all remember that? People never try to talk. People try to act like that shit never happened. People try to act like that shit never happened. It did. It happened. I couldn't fucking believe it. The second air ball, he wasn't even far from the rim. It was like, he said he was a rookie. Man, that's no excuse to be shooting bricks, man. Not back to back. You know what I'm saying? The second one, I said, man, them was butterflies. Butterflies got a hold of his ass. You know what I'm saying? He missed the first one, and he kind of like, damn, did I just do that? And then he turned around and did it again. I said, whoa. I said, that's nothing more than that's butterflies, yo. That was butterflies got the best of him. He did. He said, Kobe was a dunker first. He developed that shot as years went by. He said, Shaq wasn't dominant the way he thinks he was. What you saying makes no sense. He got 3 finals MVPs. He has 3 finals MVPs. Who outplayed Shaq at center? Who outplayed Shaq at center? I forgot to mention Rick Smith. That's somebody else that Shaq used to be dogging too. Rick Smith, the dunking Dutchman. He said, nah, man, Shaq was that guy. He said one regular season. What MVP is more important? The regular season MVP or the finals MVP? You tell me which one means more. A motherfucker can win regular season MVP and get eliminated in the first fucking round. Which one means the most? A person can win an MVP and not even make it to the finals. So you tell me which one means the most. He got 3 finals MVPs. That's big fucking business. That's big business. That means when everything was on the line, he brought the fucking pain, and he did. He did. I don't know why people try to downplay this. When he was playing, nobody was downplaying Shaq. Nobody was downplaying Shaq. He was at the top of the fucking scouting report. Damn, we got to play the Lakers. Can't nobody stop this big motherfucker, man. Can't nobody stop him. He's too big. Every time he get the ball, he just turn around and dunk the motherfucker. He just turn around and dunk the motherfucker. He said George Mearshon. He said Shaq was by far the most dominant. You had to be there. Easily the most dominant. Easy. Now, the diss track. We got to talk about diss tracks briefly before I get up off here. Yeah, Shaq went and made a motherfucking diss record. Shaq likes to play, man. Shaq likes to bid. Like I said, I was around him. I was kicking it with him. He's a big, silly, fun, happy-go-lucky ass nigga and shit. He likes to bid and shit. He's gutter as a motherfucker, funny, sense of humor, and he think he can rap. Nigga from New Jersey. He got all the means of thinking that he could rap. He's gotten better over the years. At a point in time, I know that he had ghostwriters, but if you listen to his flow, he did a song with this bald head nigga. I think he's from Texas. I can't remember this dude's name. He just did a record with this dude recently. It was like last year. He bald headed and got sideburns. Shaq got off on that record. He did. He hit him with a diss record. Just displaying his talents. You know what I'm saying? Something that we appreciate. But I'm tired of all these disses right now. I told y'all when that shit popped off with Drake, J. Cole, and Kendrick Lamar, the rest of these niggas ain't gonna let these boys have a spotlight to themselves. And as you see, everybody made a diss record. They just went crazy. Diss records here, diss records there. Everybody dissing. Chris Round's dissing. Quavo's dissing. Cassidy's dissing. Shaq's dissing. Drake's dissing. You got everybody fucking dissing. There's more. There's more. Everybody dissing. And now you got Game. That Game diss is weak, man. Game wreck chaser, man. Game is wreck chaser. Hold on, super chat. I'm a diehard Lakers fan. I would never admit to Kobe missing all those shots against Utah. You don't have to. It's on camera. They used to swap out Jeff Hornacek and B. Russ on Kobe. He was torturing both of them guys. It wasn't Zero or somebody else. No, it wasn't Zero. It wasn't Zero. It was another dude. I don't know if he's from Texas. He might have been from Florida. It wasn't Zero. It was another dude. He might be from Vegas or Florida and shit. And Zero redid You Can't Stop the Rain. He redid You Can't Stop the Rain. Let's all agree that Shaq been doing some legitimate music lately. But Game, that Game joint was weak. He said, "Trade the truth." It was somebody else, man. It was somebody else, man. I can't remember this dude's name, man. He bald-headed. I can't remember this dude's name. Somebody figured it out. Somebody said. That Game, this is weak, man. Game, this is the first one of your disses ever, man, that I felt wasn't no good, man. You know, Game in his prime, he'd give a motherfucker 500 bars, 300 bars and shit and be changing beats like the Jacket for Beats and shit like that. And it always was pretty good, pretty entertaining. That shit was weak. That shit was weak, yo. That shit was weak. And just for the record, just for the record, it's too late to dethrone Rose with the CO shit. Like, saying that, you know, he was a CO and he ain't sold no keys and all of that shit. All of that shit probably is true. A lot of that shit, it is true. I don't think Rose was ever no drug kingpin or nothing like that. But the music sound oh so good. The music is official. The music is Maybach music. Y'all know what to expect when that shit come on. Maybach music. Maybach music. Let's talk about diced pineapples. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about all this good dope ass music this nigga dropped. Still scheming. Like, we got to agree on this. 50 Cent couldn't move him. Shaq No Hook classic. No doubt. He said, "I gotta throw Earl Boykins' jersey on the wall." He said he a hit maker, no doubt. Rose has always brought some dope ass music to the table, man. He wouldn't have, he said, "Ross talk that shit like none other. Like none other." Oh. Yo, y'all know Rose do his thing, man. Like, you can't shake him. You can't shake him, man, with the, you better off trying to attack him physically, but because the nigga dress fresh, big nigga dress fresh, he get fresh. You know what I'm saying? Keep his shit shaped up right, you know. Rose carry it the right way, man. He do, like, and if 50 Cent don't disrupt what you doing, he survived 50 Cent. He got classics on top of classics. He got classic albums. The shit that he did with Meek Mills, them songs, Pandemonium, and I'm a boss. He got hits, man. Like you cannot shake Rose with that CO shit. You can't. They got pictures of him as a CO. He denied it at first. He ended up admitted to it. He had to admit to it. His ass is on camera as a fucking CO. William Roberts. Even the real Rick Ross showed up and claimed his name. I'm the real drug kingpin. He's still in my life. He's still in my name. He went to court and he lost. You know what I'm saying? Gregory Bean, I appreciate your super chat. That Game diss against Rick Ross is pure desperation for attention. Game didn't mind him being a CO when he had him on all those features. Ali Boombaye, Mafia music remix, etc. Yeah, let's talk about it. He said the Game is starving, and just something to damage Game that I'll never forget. It happened just a couple of years ago. Game got a lawsuit with somebody. I think it was a female. Fucked around and got broke. He started doing features for like $250 or some shit like that. Y'all remember that? That was just a couple of years ago. I know some niggas that bought one of them features. Rome Streets brought a Game feature on one of Rome Street. Rome. The song was dope. The song was official, but Game just got broke a couple years ago, man. It was about a lawsuit. Somebody was taking all of his money. Every dollar that he touched, motherfucker was taking that shit. And the nigga started doing features for like $300, $500 and shit like that. So, y'all remember that? Yo, he said he lost his publishing. He said he tried to say he wouldn't pay her. It was his baby mom. He said he still owe her. He said he just got broke. He lost $7 million. Lost a lawsuit because fool didn't show up to court. He always doing some wild shit, yo. And the way that he just tried to interject himself in this battle climate that's going on right now, it was laughable. And Rose downplayed him by getting on camera with a Louis Vuitton bowl and a spoon and saying these niggas are starving. Yeah, I'm watching the scores right here, 72-50. Denver getting off on them tonight. They not gonna get swept. They escaped being swept. He said, my nigga got a Game feature for $500. Nigga even said his name. Whack 100 is defending Game. Whack 100 was Game's manager or some shit like that, I believe. Yeah, before Whack 100 became all Mr. Clubhouse, paperwork, and all this shit, he was with Game. He actually took Game's record up to DJ Academics, who debuted that terrible diss record today. And he not getting no response from that. Not now. Rose can just kill him by not responding. You know what I'm saying? He said, yeah, he was his manager. The Game said Rick Ross can't go bar for bar with him. The Game was a stripper. He can't say nothing about Ross. Ross has been tested, man. He stood the test of time. Rick Ross ain't going nowhere, yo. That Bel Air shit, that's working for him. We have to admit, man, the nigga's a hustling motherfucker. His label, Maybach Music, that shit dope. Brought us Meek Mill when Meek was thorough. Rick Ross can go around signing motherfuckers right now, man, to Maybach, and people will join up. They will. Straight up. He said that shit did 10,000 views on the Shade Room. That ain't good. That ain't good. He said he was actually a security guard. I remember when Game was giving people verses during COVID. Yeah, it was around that time. It got hectic for him. Game drops all his stuff now under whack because of that lawsuit. The Game and Ross will make a good battle, though. He talking about Wingstop, man. Wingstop is getting money, man. He's an excellent business. Excellent businessman. He's proven it. Wingstop is a legitimate restaurant chain. Yeah. He said Fat Boy be ghostwriting on the low too. Game's barking up the wrong tree in this regard. He is. He's barking up the wrong tree. So I had to talk about that. Game, you're not gonna get no feedback on your diss. You're not. Rose don't even have to respond. And not only that, your diss record wasn't any good. Your diss record wasn't any good. Lastly, before I get up off here, I wish y'all a great Friday evening. I gotta go get online and see what's up with this Timberwolves shit. Hassan Campbell. I want y'all to go look at his interview with No Jumper, where Hassan Campbell told a Caucasian male that white men mature faster than black men. I need each and every one of y'all to go listen to those words fall from his lips. I need y'all to go watch that No Jumper interview with Adam 22 and Hassan Campbell, where he said fluently and with a straight face, white men mature faster than black men. I know that Adam 22 felt uncomfortable as a motherfucker. Like, man, you gonna get me killed. Why would you say that shit on my platform? I know that he damn near jumped out of his shoes, man. Like, oh, fuck, man. Why would you say that shit on my platform? You gonna get me in some shit. You gonna get me in some shit. He said, that's nasty. Yeah, it's pathetic. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. All the brilliant black men across the land, past and present, all the great, brilliant black men, Dr. Carter G. Woodson, Dr. Cornel West is running for president right now. There's so much greatness that can be attributed to guys who look just like me and you, right? This moron got on a Caucasian male's platform and told him white men mature faster than black men. That's something that you could never, ever, ever live down. You can't apologize for it. And it's online, so you can't take it back. I'm just here to make sure each and every one of y'all, go hear it for yourself. Go hear it for yourself. Please, y'all need to go listen to this shit. This is one of the low points. This is one of the low points of black civilization. Yeah, he a nigga just like the rest of us. Y'all need to go listen to this shit. I couldn't believe he said it. I had to pull it back. I said, I know this motherfucker didn't just say that. I know motherfucking well he didn't just say that. I pulled it back. He did say that. He did say it. And y'all who be on my platform and be on his platform, the next time that y'all in his chat, the next time y'all in his comments, y'all need to ask this goofy motherfucker, why the fuck would you say some shit like that? What was your motive for saying some shit like that? Give us your reasoning, your logic behind saying some stupid shit like that. Straight up. So I came, I've conquered. I had to clear up this shit about the diesel. You talking about the Lakers, goddamn, and I got to get up in here and interject because I watched those games. I've been a fan of the Lakers since Magic Johnson era. Since the Magic Johnson era, since the Showtime Laker era. Every Laker documentary that came out, that series that was just on Hulu, I watched Dr. Jerry Buss story. I watched all of that shit. Enjoyed all of that shit. You know why? Because I'm a diehard fucking Laker fan. Straight up. I hope the Knicks bounce back. Denver is up 20 on Minnesota. I think they packing it up. They gonna rest this game. It's a load management game. And I want them to finish Denver off. And y'all have a wonderful weekend. Go to my website, therealdribble.com. Get you some merch. Get you some sea moss. I got the sea moss gummies over there for you guys who don't know how to prepare sea moss. You can eat it on the run. I got 4 or 5 different flavors: pineapple, berry blast, Irish moss, and I got a variety pack. And I also got the gold, the sea moss gold, the raw sea moss gold, and the purple sea moss. He said, "Nah, that man is no longer black. The game, Poppy, is close to Spanish for me. It is Spanish." Um, Members only. I have to say something to you before we leave. I think I might want to have you on a live stream so we can talk about your latest video. You put out the video about the guy who was on death row about stealing those earrings, or allegedly stealing those earrings. I want you to go watch an interview I did with King Odie. Type in Gully TV King Odie, and it's a lot of freestyles that's gonna pop up, but you're gonna see an interview, and he talk about robbing and being, fucking, meeting, boosting Billy from the low lives. He gonna talk about Little Larry. North Philly, I appreciate your super chat. He said, "Damn, I'm late. What I miss, Gully?" Shannon Sharpe talking crazy, disrespecting Shaquille O'Neal. Just pull this back, man. But members only. When I seen those earrings in your documentary, I couldn't believe it. I've been hearing about those earrings, them figure eights, since like 91 or 92. When I was up Vision Quest, that's all that they was talking about. The niggas that was jackers, and there was a lot of them, that's all they was talking about. Those fucking figure eight earrings, and there was some other ones called swirls. And King Odie and his mob, they was professionals at that shit. Like, it sounds crazy now. I said this in your comments. It sounds crazy now that people was victimizing females, robbing for their earrings and shit like that. Biggie rapped about it on Give Me the Loot. He did. This is something that was going on. Hustlers, drug dealers and shit like that, they was buying their girls these expensive earrings. I didn't know that they only cost $450. But in 1991, $450, that was like $1,000 today and shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That interview that you did with dude, he made it to death row about a pair of earrings, allegedly robbing a chick for her earrings. That shit was big as a motherfucker. Before the drug game got really, really big to where niggas 13, 14 could get their hands on a pack and shit like that, everybody was robbing and stealing. All of us was robbing and stealing. Everybody that was in the quest, a lot of niggas is up there for robberies, boosting, snatching purses. That sound crazy, right? There was a time when niggas snatched purses from women, old lady. I know a nigga who snatched a lady purse. She fell over and died. You know what I'm saying? But that's some shit that was going on in the early 90s. And it sounds pathetic now. It sounds like a low-life crime, but niggas was starving. Niggas was starving. And some of y'all might some of y'all might have aunts, and you look at their ears, and their ears are split. If you ever wondered, like, damn, why is their ear like that? You see them with the split ears? They come from that era where motherfuckers was snatching them earrings out their fucking ears and shit. Them bamboos and shit like that. Motherfuckers was snatching them fucking earrings. He said that was somebody else's video. It might have been American Confidential. I thought it was yours. But they was snatching them earrings out of girls' ears, and a lot of their ears are split. You know what I mean? But he said, R.I.P. PU and Little Larry. Yeah, I was in the quest with them, man. I got pictures with PU. That was one of my childhood friends and shit. Rest in peace to PU. Lamont Norman. Rest in peace to Huff, too. Huff died a couple of years, too. Logan Valley niggas and shit. Them was my dudes from the quest, some childhood homies and shit. Anyway, make sure y'all go to my Instagram page and follow me at IamGullyTV_. Follow me on Twitter at GullyTV1, and go to the website, therealdribble.com. That's my personal haberdashery. You can get CMOS over there. You can get all types of fucking gear, merch, PA knits, my autograph book, I'm even gonna have the hard copies and the vinyls. Pillmatic 2 is coming out this week, and if you exclusively looking for knittage, go to my new master website, pa-knit.com. Go over there and get right. Peace.